A Utah archaeologist is correcting history after discovering that Machu Picchu may have been called by a different name.
Several famous Utah faces are coming together for a concert in Provo to help Ukrainian refugees.
A BYU couple living at Wymount is in Europe escorting Ukrainian refugees into Poland. Welcome to Universe Live. I'm Hassan El-Sheikh.
And I'm Katie Ampel. It's Thursday, April 7th. U.S. intelligence officers are working to identify Russian units involved in committing a massacre in Ukraine, and the NATO Security General is warning that the war could wage on for years.
Cole Higgins has the latest, and we have to warn you, some of the images and subject matter may be disturbing.
Pope Francis unfurling a war-stained Ukrainian flag and kissing it, renewing calls for an end to Russia's war and appealing for an end to atrocities like those seen in Bucha, where a senior U.S. defense official says the executions of 20 tied-up civilian men appears to be premeditated, planned, and very, very deliberate. Newly released drone video captures the macabre moments a person riding a bicycle is gunned down by Russian soldiers. Another captures the grim aftermath where bodies lie lifeless along the same street.
This is a crime which fulfills the features of a genocide.
The U.S. now assesses that Russian forces have completely withdrawn from areas near Kyiv and Chernihiv to reconsolidate and refit in Belarus and in Russia.
We've warned that we're entering a new phase of the conflict that could last for some time. It doesn't mean it will look exactly the same, or the needs or the resources will be exactly the same.
We have to be realistic and realize that this may last for a long time, for many months, for even years.
The Pentagon says it's impossible to know how long the war will last, but they believe Ukraine can win.
I think the proof is literally in the outcomes that you're seeing every day. The Ukrainians are bravely fighting for their country, and they have denied Mr. Putin so many of his strategic objectives. So absolutely they can win.
I'm Cole Higgins reporting.
A couple at BYU has left Provo to help refugees in Europe. On March 18th, native Ukrainians Alex and Olya Tilton flew to Ukraine to help escort refugees out of the war-torn country. The couple rented a van to drive people, food, and medical supplies across the Ukrainian-Poland border. Olya, who is a BYU student, has been sharing photos and stories on her Facebook page. The couple has expanded their volunteer work to include translating, buying groceries, and even finding luggage for people. In a post, Olya says the experience has been life-changing, and they are grateful for the physical, spiritual, and financial support they've received.
Alex Boyer and other popular artists are performing this weekend to help Ukraine. Halcyon Productions is hosting United for Ukraine this Saturday in Provo. 100% of ticket sales will go to Nova Ukraine, a nonprofit that has raised more than $14 million for Ukraine since the start of the war. The concert will be April 9th at the Experience Event Center in Provo from 6:30 to 10 p.m. Alex Boyer, Aaliyah Rose, the Bonner family, and more are performing. Tickets start at $25 for general admission. You can also buy a VIP experience for $250 and the Ultimate VIP experience for $500. Tickets are available at halcyon-productions.ticketleap.com.
Just minutes ago, Delta Airline pilots wrapped up a picket at the Salt Lake International Airport.
Yeah, we're tired, we're fatigued. We want the company to work with us on common sense solutions to our tiring, fatiguing rotations.
Pilots were protesting being obliged to fly overtime due to understaffing and scheduling disruptions. The picket began at 10 o'clock and lasted for 2 hours. The Delta Airline Pilots Association organized the rally. The union has also organized picketing in Seattle, Detroit, and Minneapolis for the coming weeks. The Utah Transit Authority says there was a significant increase in the use of public transportation during Free Fare February. The report shows an increase of usage across all of its services. Free Fare February was the busiest month for the UTA since the start of the pandemic. The largest increase was on Saturdays, with a 58% increase compared to January. Sunday ridership was up 32% and weekday ridership was up 16%. 26% of UTA customers use the services to get to work. Other reasons people use public transportation includes entertainment, visiting family and friends, running errands, and getting to school.
Becky Edwards is now one of 3 Utah Republican candidates on the ballot for the GOP U.S. Senate primary. Edwards qualified for the June primary on Monday after obtaining 28,000 petition signatures. Edwards is a BYU graduate and former Utah House representative. She is currently running against incumbent Mike Lee and Ali Issam. Issam became a candidate at the end of March after obtaining enough signatures. The primary vote for Utah will be held on June 28th, and the final vote for senator will be in November. Senators Mitt Romney and Mike Lee are showing their support for Utah tourism. The senators met with members of the Utah Tourism Industry Association to discuss tourism hotspots in the state and how the senators can help support both tourism and hospitality. Senator Romney says that the tourism industry is an important part of Utah's growing economy. Both senators say that Utah has a wide variety of places and activities that draw visitors in, and that its national parks, ski resorts, and sporting events bring people from all of the world to Utah.
Provo is recognized as the 5th most dynamic metropolitan city in Utah. This ranking comes from Heartland Forward Study, a nonpartisan nonprofit focused on improving economic performance in the United States. Utah has 5 cities listed on the overall Heartland ranking, including St. George as number 4, Provo at number 5, Logan number 6, Salt Lake City as number 13, and Ogden as number 16. Governor Spencer Cox proudly responded to these rankings on Facebook, saying how he looks forward to continue to strengthen Utah's local economies.
The Utah County Sheriff's Office is mourning the loss of K-9 Unit Axe. The 8-year-old Dutch Shepherd passed away during ACL surgery last week. Axe's heart stopped and could not be revived. Axe had been going through physical therapy and was unable to perform his duties. Axe was a patrol dog certified in narcotics detection and suspect apprehension, with his most recent assignment being Utah County Jail prisoners. Axe was taken to Pet Reflections in Pleasant Grove yesterday to be cremated. Each of his 4 handlers will take part of Axe's ashes home to honor his service.
Utah archaeologists say we may be pronouncing and calling Machu Picchu the wrong name. Information from maps and other 17th century documents suggests the Inca city was originally called Pichu, or more likely, Huayna Picchu. Machu Picchu was rediscovered by American explorer Hiram Bingham, who believed to have named it. An archaeologist from Southern Utah University says the researchers aren't experts in the indigenous Quechua language, causing inadequately researched names of places. Huayna means new or young, and Picchu means mountain peak in Quechua.
The BYU Religious Education and the Religious Studies Center will host their yearly Easter conference tomorrow. The conference, titled The Power of Christ's Deliverance, features keynote speaker Virginia Pierce Cowley, a former member of the Young Women's General Presidency for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. BYU Religious Education professors John Hilton III and Jan Martin will also speak. Speakers will focus on Jesus Christ's life and mission and the influence he has in our lives. The event will be in the JSB Auditorium at 7 p.m. and admissions is free.
One BYU business student has an impressive resume with 8 international moves, fluency in 4 languages, and a year in the Swiss military. Aaron Shavodoba was born in Switzerland, but his family quickly moved to Budapest, then England, Vietnam, Hungary, and finally back to Switzerland. Shavodoba served his mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Italy and later completed military service back in Switzerland. Shavodoba was picked up several languages throughout his travels, and when he was only 8 years old, he could fluently speak German, Hungarian, and English. At age 24, Shavodoba now lives in Provo and is adapting to the life in the States.
3rd, 4th, and 5th graders in the Provo City School District have an exciting opportunity to go fishing with police officers. The fishing event, called Cops and Bobbers, will happen April 12th, 13th, and 19th. Students will get to interact with officers from the Provo Police Department, as well as get involved with the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources. The kids can win prizes, participate in games, and are encouraged to wear costumes. No fishing experience is necessary, but students should bring their own fishing pole if they can. There will be extra poles if students do not have one.
A woman intentionally crashes her SUV into several police cars during a chase.
Stop! There's nowhere for you to go! Stop!
We'll show you the body cam footage and tell you what finally ended the 25-mile chase.
Are most of the kids in favor of the picketing?
Yep.
A production manager discovers rare footage of Prince as a kid, how he came across the video, and what it reveals about the late pop icon.
The darkest skies on Earth, roller coaster highs and lows, and what next week will look like. We'll discuss it all.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere, and just growing up the way I grew up, and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
The U.S. Senate is expected to confirm Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court today. The first vote to cut off debate took place at 9 a.m. with a result of 53 to 47. The second vote to complete a final roll call on her confirmation started around 11:45 a.m. If confirmed, Jackson will become the first black woman on the Supreme Court, replacing Justice Stephen Breyer when he retires this summer. Jackson's first term will include cases involving race, college admissions, and voting rights.
Big changes are coming to U.S. passports next week. The documents will include an option for the X gender marker. The change goes into effect on Monday, April 11th. The Department of State has concluded that the definition of the X gender is unspecified and can be seen as another gender identity. The department says the X gender definition is respectful of an individual's privacy while also advancing inclusion. The option will also be available for other forms of documentation beginning next year. The federal mask mandate is scheduled to expire in a little more than a week. The mask mandate was originally instituted by executive order and has since been extended 3 times. The most recent extension goes until April 18th. Airline executives from Delta, American, and United have asked to end the federal mask mandate and other coronavirus travel requirements because they are no longer aligned with the realities of the current epidemiological environment.
Police body cam footage shows a woman using her Hummer as a battering ram and hitting several police cars. The woman crashed her large SUV into 8 police cars during a chase in Connecticut. The SUV the woman was driving flipped at the end of the 25-mile chase. She's in the hospital with a broken leg and dislocated hip. 7 officers were injured, and there is more than $135,000 in property damage. The woman is being held on a $750,000 bond and faces 7 felony counts.
Video footage of music legend Prince as a kid was recently discovered by accident.
A journalist at Minneapolis TV station was searching through old film for a story about a teacher strike decades ago when he found this gem. Jess Wagner has more.
Deep in the WCCO film archives are hundreds, if not thousands, of opportunities to travel back in time. And on one reel, a treasure lay hidden, untouched, for 52 years. April 1970.
Okay, so there's the governor's mansion. That's kind of cool.
Matt Liddy is WCCO's production manager.
I grew up in Minneapolis, so all I cared about was looking at cool old buildings from the place I grew up.
But his curiosity turned into a discovery when he saw a reporter interviewing kids as teachers picketed in the background. And it was this young boy jumping around and later answering a question who left Liddy speechless.
So then I immediately just went out to the newsroom and started showing people, and every single person, Prince.
Are most of the kids in favor of the picketing?
Yep.
How come?
I think they should get a better.
Our excitement was palpable, but
we did not get him saying, "I'm Prince Nelson."
Cue our investigation. How about a picture? A yearbook photo showing Prince as a 5th grader popped up online.
He would have been 10 or 11 in this picture.
We needed an expert.
They called him Skipper.
Yeah. Kristen Schaumler says videos of Prince as a preteen are almost non-existent. Until now. She's seen the clip here for the first time.
Oh, I think that's him, definitely. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And this definitely looks like Lincoln Junior High School, where he would have been attending school.
Despite the evidence, we still needed someone who knew Prince as a kid. Schaumler connected us with Terrence Jackson.
Oh my God.
A childhood friend and neighbor who was also in Prince's first band, Grand Central, when they were teenagers.
That's Skipper! Oh my God!
Education too, cause.
Wow.
And I think
Wow.
That's it.
Wow, that was him.
What do you,
I'm like blown away and I'm totally blown away.
Our mystery regarding one of the most mysterious men in music was solved.
That's Prince, a.k.a. Skipper to the North Side.
Just a young city kid years before he put his city and its sound on the map.
Yep.
Jeff Wagner.
Mark my word.
WCCO 4 News.
You guys have found a real gem.
Olivia Rodrigo is bringing her Sour tour to Orem this weekend.
Alexa is here now to share more about the pop star's tour. Alexa.
That's right. Less than a week after winning 3 Grammys, including Best New Artist, Best Pop Vocal Album, and Best Pop Solo Performance, pop sensation Olivia Rodrigo is coming to Utah. This Saturday, April 9th, Rodrigo will perform for up to 8,500 fans at the UCCU Center in Orem. This is Rodrigo's first tour and first time performing at a concert in Utah. Rodrigo kicked off her tour for her Grammy Award-winning album Sour on April 2nd, with plans to visit more than 40 cities across both North America and Europe. Tickets for her entire tour, including her Utah show, are already sold out. Although her early success means she could likely fill large arenas, Rodrigo says it's important not to skip steps in her career, and she is excited to perform in these intimate and more personal venues. Many Utahns are upset that the local performance is limited to the UCCU Center, and they have taken to Twitter to express their opinions. This Twitter user says, "Why is Olivia Rodrigo's Utah show at UVU? That venue fits like 15 people." Another user called out her manager, saying that they should have found a better space for her show. She says, "There are so many venues in Salt Lake City, and they got you the UVU basketball gym." Others complained about the price for the tickets at the not-so-luxurious venue, saying, "You're literally insane if you think I'm paying $400 to see Olivia Rodrigo perform driver's license inside a UVU basketball court." Well, regardless of how you feel about the venue, it is exciting to see such a big star come to Orem. And if you were lucky enough to get tickets to her show, we hope you have a great time this weekend.
Of all the certified international dark sky parks and communities, the highest concentration of the finest dark skies in the world are located right here in Utah. An international dark sky park is a spot of land that possesses an exceptional or distinguished quality of starry nights and an environment that is specifically protected for its scientific, natural, educational, cultural, heritage, and public enjoyment. If you've ever lived in Utah, then you have most likely been to one of the dark sky places, as Utah is home to 24 accredited international dark sky places. These natural communities include locations like Antelope Island, Arches, Canyonlands, Goblin Valley, Bryce Canyon, and Zion National Park. So if you're a fan of seeing the universe outside of our own, then be sure to visit any one of these international parks and spots. We are riding a roller coaster of high and low temperatures, and it is not going away in these next few days. High pressure is going to be building throughout this region, which will be bringing in some temperatures approaching 10 to 20 degrees above normal by Friday. However, after one day of warmth, another dry cold front will be crossing the state on Saturday, bringing cooler, wetter temperatures. And ahead of this front, gusty winds will once again be possible across the northern and western valleys Friday night into Saturday morning, with the potential for low Saturday morning to be a little bit elevated. Now let's move on to today's temperatures all across the state. It's kind of typical for April temperatures. We're in the 60s, the only exception being St. George at 78 degrees. And then all of those lows are kind of warming up. We're a little bit above freezing. Moving on to the 5-day forecast for southern Utah, it's warming up like we said for tomorrow, and then it's going to drop again. So they're getting all the way up to 87 degrees on Saturday and then dropping back down into the 70s and some possible rain on Tuesday. Going to the 5-day forecast for northern Utah, it's going to be mainly sunny days, 70 degrees for tomorrow, and then dropping back down into the 50s as we're going to get some rain and a little bit of snow coming in on Monday and Tuesday. And I just hope that some flowers survive this.
I know, I'm really scared for the flowers that we planted, that they're not going to get frosted over. A little bit nervous there.
Well, regardless of how the temperature feels, here's a story about some wheels. We already have bags on wheels to help get luggage to a flight on time, but what about passengers on wheels?
One TikToker found a creative way to make his trek to the terminal roll away.
This rainy day is temporary. The contrast is wild.
Ari Bortz, or at the Stuttering Skater, posted a video of himself rollerblading through the Salt Lake International Airport. Bortz passed a passenger or two running to get to their gate on time, while he casually sailed past them to get to Terminal B. The terminal is notorious for the long walk, and many travelers dread the trek to get back to their plane. Bortz may have started a new transportation trend at the airport. Thanks for joining us today for Universe Live. For more information on our stories or to share them with your friends, check out our website at universe.byu.edu.
Have a great day.